as of June 27th, the Army had met only 40% of its enlisted recruiting mission for fiscal year 2022. And they only had 3 months left, okay? Just over 40%, not even half. Now, they said, fear not, because the summer is typically when services recruit the most candidates following high school graduation. So now here we are in August, and Politico reports that the Army is now at 66% of its goal for the fiscal year that ends in less than 60 days in September. The Navy's at 89%. They're still below where they want to be and where they thought they would be. And what they are reporting is that the Army has now, for the very first time, offered a quick ship bonus of $35,000 in all career fields for new recruits. It used to be $25,000. They've upped it to $35,000. That has helped their numbers. Doesn't get to the root cause of why people didn't want to do it to begin with. What they're saying right now is that in fiscal year 2020, the regular Army got 61,000 and change, which was 100% of their goal. In 2021, they got 57,000. So they lowered the goal, but they met it, right, by about 5,000. And now this year they wanted 57,000 new recruits, and they're not there. And they don't know whether they're going to get there. Having said all this, they testified before Congress they expect to be 10,000 soldiers short of the planned end strength for the fiscal year. The forces are, bottom line, not going to be as strong as we want them to be, and they are having trouble finding new guys who want to be associated. And it's not just the Army, as I mentioned. There are other branches who are struggling to meet their numbers as well, other than the Marines. None of this factors in the layoffs that we've seen in the National Guard, in the reserve troops of 60,000 we lost who can't go and fight for us now because they wouldn't get the mandatory COVID vaccine. An absurdity for these best, brightest, and healthiest and most fit amongst Americans, right? We can't use them now because, and this is all young men, right? They're all whatever. So they can't use the ones we already have, and they can't recruit enough to backfill them. Why?
There's a number of reasons. The COVID vaccine is one of them right there. There are people that would either, whether it's true or not, say for religious reasons, they didn't want to get the vaccine of their choice, the whole my body, my choice thing. And then just, from where it came, it's a Chinese-made biological weapon they released on the world to see how we would respond. In the military, unfortunately, allegedly, sure. In the military, you have to follow orders. When we got in, if we wanted to fight in Iraq, we had to get. I got anthrax 7 to 11 different times, and we got smallpox a bunch of times, and a lot of people got sick doing it. But we knew that they were orders; we had to take them. So the vaccine thing, it's 6 and 1, half a dozen the other. Whether you want to do it, how bad do you want to fight for your country? But then there's other stuff that's not necessary. There's the whole you can get a tattoo or not based on a request chit that your chain of command fills out. You can't do it here, you can do it there, or now you can do it here, can't do it there. Just dumb stuff like that. Some guys are just not physically fit. Some people spend too much time with their head and their neck bent down looking at their phones, and they have no interest in getting out and getting fit. And then a major reason, and I've seen this personally with people who want to join, is that they hear about how woke is taking over, which it is. And it's becoming just such a it just takes up way too much time trying to train people on different woke stuff that shouldn't matter in the military. They're making too much stuff important in the military. I love that the Marine Corps is maintaining its numbers because that's what Marines do. And people that want to be Marines are just awesome. And they've always wanted to be Marines in general. But some people just see what's happening in the Army, especially in the Navy. I've seen Navy SEALs that have, I know guys that are past 20, but you can do 30, maybe a little bit plus, that just retire, just get out because I'm over it. I don't need to take this sensitivity training before you send me over to fight Al-Qaeda if we're allowed to fight them anymore. There are Marines who had been ambushed in places like Afghanistan, gotten really, really long gunfights for even days at a time. And then when they get done, they find they're being charged with war crimes from their chains of command, things like that. That's the woke thing's a big one. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Mark Milley, getting on there saying he just doesn't quite understand white rage, and he's white, so he needs to be told about it. Things like that, and just there's a conversation to be had about all that stuff, but there's also a time and a place for it. And I think with our military, as long as we're good to people, as long as we act like good guys, and the good guys and the good women on the battlefield, then it does. A lot of this nonsense online training is not necessary, and a lot of people don't want to do it. I've seen young men be talked out of trying to become SEALs because they heard too much about the sensitivity training, and it's just. We're putting way too much stuff in a room that doesn't need to be filled.
Yeah, it's like you you guys are out on the battlefield actually shooting bad guys, and you say, "Oh, I got him," and then you're going to get corrected on. He went by them. Let's get the pronouns correct.
He said, well, even with, I'll get asked a lot about the Bin Laden raid itself, and they'll say, so did you guys carry cameras on the Bin Laden raid? And I said, hell no, because the general doesn't need to know how justice was served. It just was. And all it's going to do, it's the same guy that's sitting on his couch that is correcting Patrick Mahomes on a Monday. Well, if I was there, I sure would have done this. No, you wouldn't have. You'd have crapped your pants. That's what you would have done. I'm just happy you did it.
Some of us have the self-awareness to know that about ourselves, and that's why we didn't sign up for the military. I want to get to the fitness thing in a second, because that's interesting to me. You know, the whole fat is beautiful, fat is fabulous. That's like the new belief in America. It's like, well, not like in your firefighter, not in your Navy SEAL. But let's table that for a second, because I want to spend some time on the white rage and General Milley. So we had Victor Davis Hanson on the show yesterday. He's amazing. He wrote a great piece on this, and we talked about it just a little, but not enough. And he said, this is from his piece. About a year ago, Austin and Chairman Milley took time out from assuring Americans that all would be well in Kabul to testify before Congress about the Pentagon's effort to address white rage in the 6-month aftermath of the January 6th riot. What was startling about their testimony was the utter lack of data showing any general trends that white soldiers were any more or less likely to practice racial discrimination or chauvinism than other ethnic and racial groups in the military. Goes on to say, they seemed entirely oblivious that the U.S. Army depends on generations of family loyalty to the armed forces. Such heritage and legacy considerations have ensured a steady stream of recruits for frontline combat units. In other words, over generations, the same families, drawn from mostly middle-class cohorts, have served disproportionately in combat units in Vietnam, the various Iraq conflicts, and Afghanistan. Indeed, if the military was consistent in its racial fixations, it might have noted that white males, the purported targets of the Austin and Milley efforts to ferret out supposed white rage cells, died in 3 wars at roughly twice their numbers in the general population. And here's the last piece. He says, traditional military families are not sending their sons and daughters into the ranks. It is not the danger of combat or the rigor of military life that families fear, but the suspicion that their offspring will be targeted for ideological indoctrination and coercion that is either extraneous or antithetical to military efficiency. So good.
Yeah, he's right on the money as usual, and a lot of this has nothing to do with proficiency in the military. Why do you want to complicate things that don't need to be complicated? When I was getting out of the Navy right around 2012, it was the big thing was repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And this is after the Bin Laden raid, about 6 or 7 months after. I'm back in Afghanistan with a room full of people. I'm in there with Navy SEALs, but also combat support. There's men and women there, and there are people that I know damn well are gay. And looking around, I'm like, does anyone care if anyone here is gay? And they're like, absolutely not. All we being the person on the ground, all I cared about was if I get shot and I'm wearing all my stuff, can you carry me out? That's it. And it's that simple. And when I went through the front door, I wasn't thinking about George Bush's policies or Barack Obama's policies. I was either thinking about the man or woman in front of me or behind me. Actually, I didn't need to think about the man or woman behind me because I knew behind me was safe because they got my back. And just bringing in this, and it goes back a long way. We're seeing this in every aspect of our life. This is going to in education. And what I've seen up close myself personally is just, you only know what you're taught. And if you're taught hate, you're probably going to grow up hating. And it's a shame that we're bringing all this into a military. I wrote a book, The Way Forward, with Dakota Meyer. I think he was the only white guy in his sniper team. And it's none of it mattered. We don't think about stuff like that. And you don't need to blame someone for something that none of you had anything to do with in the first place. A lot of the stuff they're trying to train people and teach them not to do is not happening anyway. And especially in a combat unit. If you're out there doing what the military is supposed to do, or if you're on that ship and everyone from the navigator to the people who are tying the knots and the lines to moor the ship and everything, the guys in the tank, the people on the sub, they're not thinking about this social awareness stuff. And it's just being pushed on everyone at a point where why are we wasting so much energy on this?
Are you tired of feeling like someone's always watching you on the internet? Maybe the advertisers know a little bit too much about you and have got a little too creepy. or you are concerned about the privacy of your identity. Using incognito mode does not solve the problem either. IPVanish VPN is here to protect your right to privacy and to help you stay anonymous online. IPVanish helps you safely browse the internet without exposing your private details to third parties. You can use IPVanish on your computer, your tablet, your phone, even devices like your Fire Stick when you are streaming media. When you use IPVanish, all of your data is encrypted. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. It's that simple. And right now, IPVanish is offering an incredible 70% off their yearly plan for our listeners with a 30-day money-back guarantee as well. That is like getting 9 months for free. IPVanish is super easy to use. All you do is tap one button. You're instantly protected. Take your privacy back today with a brand rated 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. Go to ipvanish.com/Megyn and use that promo code Megyn to claim your 70% savings. That's ipvanish.com/MEGYN. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.